The Tottenham Hotspur versus Luton game has just finished, an incredibly stressful 2-1 victory. But as I just said at the end of the live watch-along feed, sometimes you just got to find a way to win. Luton came, played incredibly well, worked their nuts off. Just in the end, Heung-Min Son's late finish takes us over the line. I'm here with Marlon from SpursKingsTV. Is that right?
That's correct.
Sorry, just trying to remember everything in my head. Marlon, your initial feelings after that game?
Poor, but the result is more. What's more important is the result.
Yeah.
Right now we've got 9 games left, and I'm one of them. I don't care what the football's going to be like for the rest of the season. Right? There's a way that Ange wants to play, and the players need to figure it out. So yeah, I'm happy. Well, I'm happy with the result. I'm not happy with the performance. There's so much to take from that, but I think Ange has got some big decisions to make in the next few weeks of how he wants this system to work, because a lot of people wanted Kulu not even on the pitch, not even starting. And if you look at that second half, he's kind of justified.
He is. I just to play devil's advocate, and I'm not saying I think Kulu should start the next game, but devil's advocate, I'd say, we talked a lot at halftime about how much work Luton had done and how tired they were, and Johnson did benefit from that. But also, what you can't take away from Brennan Johnson is the assists weren't as simple as, oh, he got in behind because they couldn't run anymore. They were just beautiful crosses and getting himself in beautiful positions.
But it's because, the way I put it is, we were playing a lot better because you saw Porro. His first instinct for that first goal was to play in behind. He can't do that with Kulu. His first instinct with Kulu is he has to step back. He actually, when you think about it, he's more further back when Kulu's playing, because Kulu's going to take that position where he was. So it's a catch-22 situation.
So because you're saying right. Because Kulu's so left-sided?
Yes. Yeah. So, and I think it's a catch-22 with your situation, because I think you're absolutely spot on, right? Because I think if you can bring on Johnson later, you get something like that. But also at the same time, I'm like, but if you start Johnson and Werner, yes, this is me saying start Werner, by the way, that actually you could win the game in the first half, so you're not stressing the second, and bring on someone like Kulu to keep the ball, and we're not as stressed as we are when we're going through that first half scenario. But second half was a lot better. An only slight issue is the dropping off, because we had like a good 10-15 minute spell
after we scored the equaliser.
We dropped off again, and we allowed him back into the game. He made his subs, which kind of didn't work, but they did work at the end there, because we caught him on the break. And, Sonny does what he does best. I know it's a good deflection, but I don't care.
So the thing that I've been talking about all day, and I'll raise again now, is whether in these games, let's be honest about it, Luton didn't cause us any trouble all game, I don't think, really. Apart from set pieces, they got in once down the right in the second minute and scored their goal, because I think Tottenham were like, they're not good enough to score from here. It's just Luton, and they did and shocked us. But apart from that, they didn't. And I personally believe in games like this, we could give Maddison some more creativity around him, which will give him more space. Because clearly what's happening when Maddison's playing at the moment is he's basically being man-marked out of the game. He's not getting much space. He's having to come to the halfway line to get the ball. And you want him in the same position in the 10, basically. I say this a lot to Man United fans. I'm like, Eriksen, when you play him as an 8, is wasted. His genius is as a 10, and Maddison's the same. So I don't think this is relevant for West Ham on Tuesday, but maybe Nottingham Forest at home, next time we play at home, could he be braver? And Sarr did well in the second half before he went off, but could he be braver and give Maddison a bit more creative help?
Do you know what? I actually think you might have a slightly good point, and I'm going to agree with you in the sense of, actually, when we are playing these low block teams, he does need to probably, I think, didn't he, when he had, there was a point, the way he's done it this season, where he had Kulu and Maddison on the pitch at the same time.
Yeah, and when we're losing against like a Brentford or whoever it is.
Yeah, and actually it worked, because he's a lot braver. You're putting the central striker and your 2 midfielders, and they have 3 people to think about. And I totally agree with you. The fact is that Maddison in that first half, they knew where our creativity was coming from. They knew, Sarr's not creative enough. Basuma, like we said, is not being brave enough at the moment. Again, even I think he had a good game today. He's not being brave enough like he was earlier on in the season. So you're right, but at the same time, he's brought on Bentancur, because Bentancur's going to give us a bit of that fluidity going forward. He does, and that's what he does. He's very good at that. Lo Celso's too one-footed for the system, but again, it's worked. I can't argue with Ange today, because his substitutions have worked. There's certain things I'd like him to tweak and change, but at the same time, if we've just come out in 1-2-1 and we haven't even played that well, And actually, it's down to the substitutions that he's done
Yeah.
today. It is, and there's nothing. His starting lineup was probably wrong.
Yeah.
And you're probably, I think, where I agree with something you have said, they took Luton lightly.
Yeah.
And you could see that clearly.
In the same way we took Fulham lightly last time. So the goals were scored. An own goal was the equaliser, and then Sonny with a deflected finish. But it was Johnson with 2 really important assists. I want to bring someone up who maybe gets forgotten about a little bit in these kind of scrappy wins. Vicario made some really important saves, at least 2 that I can think of. That if we'd gone 2-0 down, that game is done.
So yeah, they were obviously, I think they were both at 1-1. When he makes these 2 saves, and they're very crucial. And that was the only 2 times Luton really threatened us.
One was a long shot.
One was a long shot, and then there was one on the edge of the box where you came across. But this is where Vicario is good in these situations and good in this system, because we are always going to be vulnerable when we're playing this way. And when you do get the goal back and you're trying to get that second, we've done it all season. We will leave things open. So it's just a case of, can Vicario save us enough, like he has been doing this season, to keep us in the game? And today it's worked. Vicario has been a revelation this season. It's just been disappointing that he hasn't kept more clean sheets, but that's not down to him.
I don't think it's down to him, I agree. So Radu Dragusin got his second full start for Spurs today. Personally, I think he did everything fine defensively. He's obviously good in the air. He's actually got more of a turn of pace than I thought he did. Admittedly, he was up against, when he was showing that, he was up against kind of 35-year-old Andros Townsend. But he was a couple of times brave down that left-hand side. But there is definitely an issue with his lack of confidence to take it on his left all the time and having to kind of turn around and take it back. And that period that you mentioned, actually, after we'd equalised, where we kind of almost settled back down, a lot of that for me came from our defenders being unwilling to find a ball between the lines. And that's something that Van der Ven is much better at. I think we'll probably both agree that Dragusin won't start against West Ham. But long term, you think he's shown enough in these 2 games in terms, maybe not as a backup left-sided centre-back, but as a centre-back in itself to see that there's something there?
Oh, yeah, no. He has shown today that he can come in, I personally thought he'd done a great job today. The stuff that you're saying, the stuff that you were saying was weak at and problems, is because he's playing on the left side. There's no other qualms about it. But I think if he played on the right, which is going to be interesting to see him when Romero is out, to see how he carries on. But he's an excellent. No, do you know what? Even if we were to go to a back 3 in certain games where we could go and then push on the wingers or the fullbacks, there'd be certain games during the season, especially next year, that we'd be able to do it. I wouldn't mind 3 of them at the back, especially in an Ange system, because everyone always goes, but playing 3 at the back, you're reminding too much of Conte. But no, it's different when you're asking your players to push further up. You can be a completely different side. But no, he's done really well. I don't think there was any problems. I know people in the chat earlier were complaining about him, but he hadn't really done anything. And I think that was the main issue. And I think it was just being more brave on the ball. Him and Romero just need to be more brave going forward to support the attack. I think the attack is letting the defence down a little bit, but that's a totally different question to go into.
I have to bring up Timo Werner. Obviously, he got a lot of stick after the Fulham game because he missed a gilt-edged chance at the back stick. Today, in the first half, he did a really excellent bit of skill to beat his man, and then was just through on goal and got too much on a finish. And as you said at the time, he'd done the hard work and actually then almost got in a bit of a weird body shape with his left foot to get too much of the side of his foot on it to hit it wide. He's a workhorse. Like he will always give you 100% effort. How do you feel about his performance today?
Well, look, what he's good at is when he gets the ball on the byline, goes down it and cuts it across. That's what he's really good at.
Which he did for the winning goal.
And there was also the bit where they cleared it off the line, where the goal line technology was working.
Cheated us.
Right. The problem that I have with him is, now let's take Johnson, right? Johnson's come on today. He's got the assist for the first goal. It's been clinical straight away. Haven't had to wait, right? And then he's then the one off the line. Yes, technically got it on target, but it went in. It literally went in. It was only because of goal line technology. My problem with Werner is he's finishing. And the game, like if we finish that game 1-1 today, that first chance he has is costing us again. It was like the same against Palace, right? And everyone will say against Fulham where he misses that chance, that puts it 3-1. Who knows what happens in the last 15, 20 minutes.
Sure.
And what Ange's system is relying on is that your wingers are going to be heavily involved in goal scoring opportunities. They're going to get loads.
I'm actually even going to arguably say Spurs are very one-dimensional in terms of the chances they make. It is that drill that I saw at the open training session again and again and again. Sometimes with slightly different players, you know, sometimes with a 1-2 to get to the Bayern, but I would go as far as to say like 80% of our goals are scored exactly like that.
Yeah, no, and you can see that. You can see all the goals we've probably scored at home since the turn of the year, especially, have been down the wing, across the goal.
We never score long shots. We never score set pieces.
No, we don't.
The odd one-on-one chance we get, I guess, like Werner's today would have been a one-on-one chance. Sonny's that where he hit both posts would have been a one-on-one chance.
So it's like the whole thing's interesting, but I just think if we are looking to be a serious club and a Champions League quality club, we can't, like, for me, Werner is not the answer. I know people go, but it's the cheaper option and stuff like that, and not cheap option, but the value of it makes sense.
If they took, for instance, Eze and Werner, would you be like, okay, good squad option?
I probably would say I'd rather us go put more faith in a younger, because I remember Werner's taken up an overseas player's place. I'd rather go with someone who's younger, if we're going to go down that formality, and who's going to give us something completely different and who might have the potential to go, instead of bringing in a Werner who we know what's going to do, but is not going to contribute enough, right? As I think, because right now I know he's got the assist for the second, well, kind of, but he needs to contribute.
You got the
pre-assist, but he needs to contribute so much more in the position that he's in, because for me, the front three is where we're lacking big time. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask you possibly a very difficult question because I can't think of anyone, but who was your man of the match today for Spurs?
Oh, great question. Great question. Who would I give it to?
I think I'd have to give it to Brennan Johnson just because he got 2 assists. He came on, he changed the game.
I was thinking that, but I gave it to him last time when he did that as well. That's all right. But I'm actually gonna go controversial here. I'm gonna give it to Bissouma, and the reason why I'm giving it to Bissouma is because when you actually look at the play today, I know we said he needs to be a bit more brave, but he did break it. Like you said, Luton didn't threaten us as much, and in the midfield, he actually won a lot of the balls that we don't. It was all the work that we kind of we take for granted. Right, and I think he actually played really well in the sense of what a DM will do. Johnson was just more on the attacking side of things, but I'm going to give it to Bissouma.
Fair enough. Marlon's gone full controversial leg.